You will not be able to protect yourself, right? Because it's like, oh, that's a very artistic idea, but is it actually going to work, right? That's very that's a nice flowery idea, but is it actually going to hold, right? I don't need art. Oh, let's see. So I'm going to pull with the left hand. Transformation. Transformation is the way. Soul transformation as well. So this regards to what's in the book about this? No. This is regards to alchemizing things that come at us. When we're on the path of evolution and ascension, we do not have to worry about the armor, because the more your frequency ascends, the less people can get in. The more you heal your triggers, the less people can get in. Do your Reiki 1 and do it with me. Do Reiki 1 with me. You know, I very much teach self-love as part of the Reiki 1 course. It's super important to actually have that connection to the divine, to your love, to your enlightenment. Before you go out in the world doing energy work, you have to heal yourself. I truly believe that. Now, you can't heal yourself out and out. There does come a point where even wounded healer, they have to go out and work on other cases so they know what they're doing. Butterfly. To be constantly in the loop of transformation, however, I don't think is right either. And this is where we look at things called the dark night of the soul. Okay? The dark night of the soul is within the cocoon, right? Don't get stuck in the cocoon. There does come a point when you have to break out of the cocoon. I hope you can see this. I'm just checking. No, you can't. I'm going to put it there. There we go. There does come a time when you have to break out of the cocoon. What is wrong with me? Getting in my own way again. There we are. So, I'm going to just pop that there. Even though you can't see it, I can see it. It's all good. I wonder if I can move this over a little ways. Here we go. Let me see if I can't tighten that up. So you should see this whole thing going on. Right, honestly, I'm going to have to work out a better system. Anyway, the dark night of the soul. She covers one eye. Odin sacrificed one eye for enlightenment. Right? Was it that eye? No, this is the right eye she's covering. Was the left eye she sacrificed for enlightenment. He sacrificed for enlightenment. And that's what I'm going to go with. In the dark night of the soul, there is a sacrifice of ego. There is a sacrifice of vision. That which we think is made for us is not necessarily made for us. We may be quite fixed on an outcome, but you might think you're heading to Disneyland, but if, and then when things, I'm like, sorry, get all tongue-tied. You might be on a train track and you think you're going to Disneyland and somebody pulls the lever and oh my goodness, now you're changing course and what's happening and you weren't heading to Disneyland. You were heading for a crash and the train had to change. We don't know what is up ahead, and we can plan and plot and do all sorts of things, but we do not know ultimately what's waiting at the end of that track. No matter how much we may want to know, when our heart is open, which is what the dark night of the soul does, the dark night of the soul enables us to get our heart to open naturally. Pulling with the left hand. And soul desires are possible. Soul desire is different from what you may think you want to see, from what you may be thinking you are manifesting. A soul desire is much deeper than that, much more profound, and brings much more joy. Inverted. My high vibe thoughts create health in my body, peace in my mind, and love in my heart. When we're in this situation of low vibing thoughts, right, we cannot create health in the body, peace in the mind, or love in the heart. The soul desires health, peace, and love. So if we have low vibing thoughts, the soul's desire is not being fulfilled. And the soul gets the last word usually. It's not possible to sell a soul. You may think it's possible to sell a soul, but the soul does not belong to anyone you could sell it to. The soul belongs to the Most High. It is a part of the love and light of the cosmos. It can't be sold. It's just supposed to go with your body. I don't need armor. I am more than brave. That is the soul desire. To not need the armor. To be able to put down the weight. To be able to release the need to protect energetically constantly. Selling insights to the highest bidder. Compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Explain, Spirit. Explain further what that is. What are you saying there? Liberator. Imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints is the shadow attribute of a liberator. So where you may think you're liberating people, you have to look at that. Freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. That would be the light attribute. When we go through the dark night of the soul, which involves dealing with our shadow self, the parts of us that do impose our tyranny over those you claim to liberate, right? Ignoring legitimate constraints. We have to deal with that. And so when we enlighten that through the dark night of the soul, we can free ourselves and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. So a shadow attribute can be enlightened. A light attribute can be put into shade as well. It all depends on how you're coming at it, but the purpose of the dark night of the soul and the alchemy that occurs during the dark night of the soul is to liberate you, is to liberate your heart, to liberate your life, and to liberate your soul, so that health, peace, and love can come from your high vibe thoughts. Without the dark night of the soul, your vibration will be too low. It's an inevitable process that has to happen if you are on the course of awakening. For some people, it comes very heavy. For others, it comes, a little bit more gently. Regardless, it needs to be done. And when we try and project our dark night of the soul on others rather than doing it, we rob ourselves of health, peace, and love that comes naturally. From the place of process and loving ourselves, we love our ancestors, right? We pay respect to those who came before us, to their strength, to their endurance, to the blood, sweat, and tears they went through to bring us to this point. Pulling with the left hand. Ill communication. Instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. And so there is a fear. There is a fear that this is a wrong communication. If I am not afraid, how can I survive? Because we're coming from the place of trauma. But if you can heal the trauma, and if you can bring yourself into the place of a grounded, strengthened place, and you can do this with Reiki, you can do this with energy work, you can do this with meditation, you can do this with chanting, you can do this with praying, and you can do it with God. 100% you can